Hello fellow cinephiles, Film Guru here. Today I'm continuing on my reviews of French cinema, which began with Holy Motors, and now today I'm going to be reviewing Playtime. This is a film that was made in the 60s, directed by Jacques Tati, who is a writer-director, also plays a lead role here. He plays Monsieur Holot, who is set on meeting an American official in order to get a job in a high-tech version of Paris. Whilst on his way there, he runs into a group of female American tourists, and which results in all manner of chaos. And it's really about him trying to get to this interview, to meet the person he's meant to, while maneuvering around this high-tech version of Paris. This is a really interesting film. Now, Jacques Tati, I didn't know a lot about, but this is his third film playing this Holot character. His previous ones were My Uncle and My Vacation, I think the first one was. And he serves as writer, director and star. And it's quite an achievement for a comical actor like that. He's done a lot of these sort of films. And you can really see the inspiration for a lot of Peter Sellers with his characters as well as Mr. Bean. Both of those characters got a lot from Holot, I think. What's really fascinating about this is there isn't a lot to it. It goes for nearly 2 hours, but you don't feel bored. You're always involved and invested in the film. There's so much going on. There's a lot of chaos stuff happening with his character and the people he interacts with. There's a lot of really great humour, very subtle humour, but very, very funny. It's so very well done. It's so clever. There's so many great moments to it and elements to it. You can tell that he built these particular sets. There was a handful of sets. There's a restaurant, there's a block of apartments, there's a cafe, and there's a airport. And he built this street with these particular things on, with these basic things, so he could go around and do what he needed to do within that set. And to make the city look bigger, there was a lot of shots of other big hotels and bits and pieces within the Paris city itself, which you could tell were all sort of fake digital cardboard cutouts, whatever you wanted, whatever, matte paintings or whatever they used to do in that era. There's also cardboard cutouts that sort of sit in the background to make it look like there's more people there than there actually is. And that's quite clever. There's some really, really great sequences in it when he goes to meet this particular American official for this job. And he goes into this particular building and he gets sort of lost in there. He ends up in an elevator and goes up to the wrong floor. He can't find the person he needs. He ends up getting swept up with another group of people and end up in another elevator in a different part of the building. And he spends most of the movie trying to find this particular American official that he needs to do this interview with. And in turn, this particular person is looking for him as well. What I think is really fascinating with it is we spend a lot of time with him, but then we'll meet some other characters and then we'll go off with them and see what they do. And then after a period of time, it always comes back to him. It's kind of clever like that. It gives it much more going on. It reminded me a lot of Peter Sellers in the movie The Party. He plays an Indian character and he spends his party just going around from person to person and meeting different people and getting into chaotic situations. This film is very similar to that. And there's some really great set pieces. Besides where he gets lost in the building, there's another one where he is invited to this apartment block with a friend that he knows. Each of the rooms, and you can just see into it like a department store. And it's this sequence where he goes into this apartment and the guy he's been looking for is actually in the other apartment, but he doesn't know this. And it's sort of interesting to see what transpires in that. But this whole sequence is done without any dialogue or sound. The only sound that we do hear is the traffic out the front of the building of cars going past. But the rest is done in silence. But it's so captivating and interesting. You get sucked into it. You even forget there's no dialogue and you're just watching these people interact together and watching him interact with these other people. It's so very well done and brilliantly accomplished, and it's clearly a director who thinks these things out and works out how they're going to work and choreographs them in such a realistic and fantastic way, and so brilliant and clever. There's another sequence where he's standing out front of this restaurant and they're still building it, but they're building it so quickly because they needed it to be open that night, so they open it, and then we go into the restaurant and see how it unfolds, how they open it. Things are going wrong, things aren't going quite the way they expect. You know, one of them's walking along and a piece of the floor comes up on his shoe. There's just a lot of funny moments like that within this sort of sequence. And it's really about them trying to rush to get this done and open it before all these people show up. There's even a sequence where the front door, which is a glass door, gets smashed in, and it has this giant sort of doorknob. It's like this metal sort of thing. And the doorman ends up just hanging onto that and holding it in place. And as people walk in and out, he pretends to open the door, which is so clever. It's such a simple, basic, humorous moment, but so well done. This film's just filled with sequences like that and little jokes and little bits and pieces that unfold in the film. It's very, very clever. Very, very well done. I'm starting to really enjoy a lot of this French cinema because they have unique and interesting ideas. They're exploring things. And the fact that this doesn't really have a story per se, or it does a little bit of a story, but it's really about the interaction this person has and with the people within that town. That is really fascinating to me, how he can keep you captivated with that. And a lot of French cinemas like that, they're trying different things and unique. And this was made back in the 60s, which they're still experimenting with. But just with films like this to come out where they're trying different ideas, making things look different, and there's a lot of the times there's no, there's not a big story happening there. It's just the people and what we're interacting with and what we're watching and the experiences that we have with that, which I think is very interesting. You watch a lot of other sort of films such as American movies, and sometimes you find yourself thinking, what's the point of this film? Why did they make this? What purpose does this serve? With a lot of the French cinema, it doesn't matter. Like, it's just an entertaining film. And they're expressing themselves in a unique way. And because of this, I started watching other films in that way. So just watching a movie and not judging it or critiquing it per se, or saying, well, I don't like that happening or this happening, but just going with it and experiencing it and see if it works or if it doesn't. And I think that's a great thing to be able to do, and I think French cinema is allowing me to do that. Anyway, final verdict. I really liked this. I thought it was a very clever film, very well done, very well choreographed. The humour is really great, and it's a very captivating and interesting film. If you like something that's a little different, that's sort of humorous and watching people interact with each other, you may enjoy this. If you like something that's a bit different and unique, or are a fan of movies that came out in the 60s, you will probably really thoroughly enjoy this. It looks great. The music they use is fantastic, the sound effects are great, and the way it's put together is quite clever. And they call this his masterpiece. And I think it truly is. It's fantastic. Look, I'm going to give this film 4 out of 5. I thought it was brilliant and very well done and executed. I would love to see more of his films based upon watching this one, which I thought was great. Anyway, that's all from me today. If you've enjoyed what you've heard here, please hit subscribe down the bottom. Otherwise, until next time, enjoy the movies.